Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teaching of Rabbi Eliezer Melamed Shlita. Here we are, Sof Shavua, Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas Va'era, Shabbos Mevorchim, already coming up on a new month, and we concluding our week of learning. We thank you for joining us, but please continue davening for Chayei Tzvah Gana Yisrael, for Shlem L'chol P'tuei Yisrael, the return of Ran Gavili L'Kvuras Yisrael, Leil Nishmat Ser and Daniel Shimon ben Harav Journal Sheli, Hashem Yakum Damo, as we learn each and every day. So let's continue. Chazarat Hashatz. Shlosha Tanaim tzrichim liskayem kedei shuchal ayachal latzesi dei chavasa b'shmias Chazarat Hashatz. So in order for someone to be Yotzei Shmona Esrei by listening to the repetition of the Shmona Esrei, you have to meet three conditions. 1. Shlo yehei baki b'tefillah. You can't be an expert on tefillah. Aval mishya deili hispalel. But if a person knows how to daven, then you have to do it on your own. You have to pray and ask for mercy for yourself. And therefore you cannot be Yotzei by listening to someone else. In other words, if you're just, you know how to daven, but I don't want to do it, I'm lazy for whatever reason, that's not sufficient. But Ezras Sidur, let's say a person only knows how to daven with a sitter, but he comes to a shul, he comes to a place, and he doesn't have a sitter. So then, in that instance, you can listen to the repetition of the Shemona Esrei, since you couldn't do so otherwise because you don't have a sitter. That's condition 1. Number 2, there have to be 10 people. You can only have the repetition of the Shemona Esrei if there is a minyan present. That is the institution of Chazal. That's number 2. Number 3, that the one listening has to understand the words of the Chazan, but someone who does not understand Hebrew, then you cannot be Yotzei with Chazarat Hashatz. So it would seem that it comes out that if someone does not know how to daven himself, most likely will not be able to understand what the Chazan is saying in Hebrew either, so it's unlikely that anyone could ever be Yotzei with Chazarat Hashatz. But let's continue. So now that we know that you know how to daven, and Chazarat Hashatz basically doesn't do anything for me, meaning I cannot be Yotzei with it. If I daven and I forgot to say something in Shemona Esrei, something that would require me to repeat Shemona Esrei, so let's say we have Rosh Chodesh coming up next week. So if a person forgot to say Yalav Yavo on Rosh Chodesh or on Chol Hamoed, which would mean that he has to repeat Shemona Esrei because he was not Yotzei Shemona Esrei. If he wants, he can listen to the repetition of the Shemona Esrei when he says Yalav Yavo. Since he already fulfilled his personal aspect of Shemona Esrei by asking for mercy for himself on his own behalf, and he just forgot one section, so there you can listen to the Yalav Yavo. That's the Psak of the Shulchan Aruch. In the note here, Rav Melamed writes that the Mishnah Berurah paskins Yoser Tov Sheyachzor Lispal Ba'atzmo Sha'idei Kaven Yoser. It says better in that instance, if you forgot, you should listen instead of listening to the Chazarat Hashatz and the Yalav Yavo. You should repeat Shemona Esrei on your own. You'll have better kavana. So that seems to be the way we paskin. We would follow the Mishnah Berurah that one should actually repeat Shemona Esrei. Kasher Adam Mechaven Litzes Yidei Chavasa B'Shmias Chazarat Hashatz. If a person is standing and he wants to be Yotzei with the repetition of the Shemona Esrei, so then it's as if you're davening Shemona Esrei yourself, so you have to stand with your feet together. And when the conclusion, you have to take the 3 steps back. And you have to answer Amen after each bracha, and you have to answer Kedusha. However, other things that might constitute a hefsek, so you shouldn't say Baruch Hu V'Rach Shemo. And when it comes time for the modem d'Rabbanan, if you're saying it or listening word for word with the Chazan, you don't say modem d'Rabbanan. Rather, you just listen to the Chazan say the regular modem. And you have to make sure not to interrupt at all with any sort of speech. Even if you hear someone else or a different minyan nearby reciting Kaddish, you don't answer Yehei Shmei Rabbah. The Chazan has to make sure that you say the entirety of the Shemona Esrei, the repetition out loud, because this is the law of the repetition, that the entire thing has to say out loud. And this is a great point. I'm so glad that the Rav brings this up here. It's like a rabbinic pet peeve. V'yesh chazanim shetom v'omrim chelik me'birchas modim b'lachash. So when it comes time to recite modim, so in the repetition, the Chazan says, modim anachnu lach, and everybody says modim d'Rabbanan. So often what happens is chazanim, they say the rest of it quietly to themselves, and then they pick it up at the end, me'olam kivinu lach, because everybody is saying modim d'Rabbanan. He says, milvad she'ena mekaymen es Chazarat Hashatz b'miluah, yesh lacha she'imiyeh sham adam she'yir tolosis deichavaso, kivit shal yishmas kol Tefillah May lo Yotzei deichavaso. What has to happen is that, first of all, you have to recite the entirety of the Shemona Esrei out loud. And what's happening is if you swallow the rest of Modim and you just say the first few words, even though everybody else is saying Modim d'Rabbanan, nevertheless you have to say it out loud. And B, let's say there is someone that is being Yotzei with your Shemona Esrei and he doesn't hear you say the words, then he's not going to be Yotzei either. So therefore, the advice is, it's not even advice, this is what you're supposed to do. Anyone davening for the Omud should recite the entire Modim out loud. You could pause a little bit so people say Modim d'Rabbanan, but then you have to say the entire thing out loud. And this is extremely, extremely important because it's possible you're not Yotzei Chazarat Hashatz. Certainly anybody who wants to be Yotzei with you would not be Yotzei either. So we are Yotzei, our learning this week, Baruch Hashem. Wishing everybody a peaceful and restful Shabbos ahead. Please continue davening for Chayla Yisrael, and Yisrael, and Yisrael, and Yisrael, return for Angavil, the Perez Yisrael. Nishmat, and Daniel Shimon, Rav Daniel Shem. Thank you so much for joining us back this week. Great to be back here. We'll see you next week.